Hey everybody! Welcome to Construction 101 with the Restoration Team. The Restoration Team is a home repair nonprofit here in Houston, Texas, and we want to use this platform to give you all a little insight on how we do what we do. We do all sorts of different construction projects, and we use a lot of tools to do them. And so with this, whether you're a seasoned handyman or maybe somebody that is hanging a mirror for the first time, we think you can learn something here. And maybe you can take these skills to work on your own house. Maybe you work on some houses in your community to give back. Or hey, maybe volunteer with the Restoration Team at therestorationteam.org/volunteer. So sit back, relax. Today, we're talking about drills. Right here, I have two different tools in front of me. Now, these two different tools are not necessarily both drills. I know we're talking about drills. This is a drill. This can drill holes into materials, wood, you name it, and it can also drive in screws. This is an impact driver. An impact driver can't necessarily drill holes into things, but it is very good at driving in screws. So I know what you're thinking. Why would we ever use this when we can use this? Well, while this can drive screws, this is a lot better. This has a lot more power to it, a higher torque rating, and can just turn screws a lot quicker. So let's get into it of just about how these work, the different components for them, and how you can use them on a house just like yours. So we'll start with the drill. As you can see, we're using a battery-operated drill. Now, they also have corded drills as well, but we find that battery-powered ones offer more mobility, more flexibility, and to be honest, a lot of the houses that we work on may not have electricity at the moment, and so this will allow us to work on anything, anywhere. But what's important is to always have your charger on hand, and if you have two different batteries, then always have one battery charging, and so there's no wasted time. So, as you can see, the battery comes right in, right out. You just have to press this in. And then up here, we have the handle, nice little grip, and a trigger. Now the trigger, this is a variable speed drill. So the harder you press, the faster the drill goes. Now on the top here, we have 3 different speeds. Some drills have 2 different speeds. Some drills don't have any speeds. But this one has 3 different speeds, and the higher the number, it's going to be the faster this drill will turn. And so right now we have it at 3. It's pretty quick. We have 1. You can tell it's a little slower. 2's, right in the middle. And so why do we have these speeds? Why wouldn't you always just go as fast as you can for max power? Well, I'll tell you. We want to work on higher speeds when we're drilling holes, and we want to work at lower speeds when we're driving in screws. Speed has an inverse relationship with torque, which we're going to get into a bit later. And torque will help to drive in screws. It'll help the turning power. And speed, you bet, it'll go quicker. And so when you're at 1, we got low speed, high torque. 3, you got high speed, low torque. On the side here, we have 2 different buttons that you can press in, and this will control the direction of which way your drill is going to be going. And so if you have the right side pressed in, you can see it has a little arrow pointing this way, forward. That'll make it go forward. If you press in the left side, you can see it has a little arrow going backwards. You guessed, it'll go backwards. And so see that? It'll go in the reverse. And then you can also put it right in the middle, and that's the safety. Nothing will happen. So if you're ever not using a drill, well, actually, if you're ever not using a power tool, take the battery out and put it in the neutral, the safety, so it doesn't go off on you. The worst thing is when you got a power tool in your toolbox and something rubs up against it and it just starts going off all on its own. We don't want that. We don't want that. Now for the torque of it, as you can see, this is an adjustable little torque collar, and on it there are a few different numbers. It starts from low to high. On this particular drill, they have a setting from 1 to 11, and then also a couple other things that we'll get to later. But this, what this does is it adjusts how much torque or how much turning power is on this particular drill. And so if we're down by the bottom with, let's choose 1, that means it's going to have a significantly less torque or turning power than it would be at, say, 11, the highest one. So you're probably asking, why would I ever be on 1? Don't we always want max power? Well, I'll tell you, sometimes you don't necessarily want to have as much force, and sometimes you don't want a screw to go in as far as others. And so let's say you're working on 1. Well, that activates the clutch a lot sooner, and so you don't drill straight through something, or you don't drive in a screw straight through a piece of wood or a piece of sheetrock, because sometimes you don't want to necessarily break the plane of what you're going through. Now, if you go farther into 11, then that'll go right in. And then also, we have here a drill setting, so that deactivates the clutch. So this is what you'll use for if you are drilling a hole into wood. You're going to use the drill setting. And then also, as you can see here, we have a little hammer icon. And that activates a pretty cool thing with drills called the hammer setting. So let's talk about the hammer drill function. Right now, if you turn this little collar, you get a little hammer icon. And what this will do is this type of drill offers a hammer functionality where you can do light masonry work by drilling and driving into either brick or concrete or cement. How it works is it activates kind of a downward driving motion while spinning to go into harder materials. And then the last part of the drill is the chuck. And the chuck is how you're going to hold the drill bits, so you can drill the holes, so you can hold the screws. And how the chuck works is you can turn it, and if you were to turn to the right, then it'll open up these jaws, just like that. And if you turn back to the left, it'll close up the jaws. So, to put in a drill bit, what you'll do is you'll open up the jaws just enough that you can fit it in there. Right there. And then turn to the left to close it up. Once you hear a little click, it's good. Perfect. Now, an important step to be mindful of is when you're putting in the drill bit, you don't want it to be crooked, because if it's crooked and then you tighten it up, well, that's not going to drill too much. And so what we'll do is we'll make sure it's right in the center, right in the center of the 3 teeth. Hear that? Perfect. Straight as an arrow. Perfect. And so that brings us to the impact driver. The impact driver is really good at driving in screws into materials. Now, it can't necessarily drill holes like the drill can, but if you plan on screwing in a lot of things, this is the thing to do. It has a lot more power. It has a lot more torque. When we talked about the clutch settings in the drill, well, this doesn't have a clutch setting, and so it only has max power. And so the biggest difference here is the chuck. As you can tell, this chuck looks a little different. This is a 1/4 inch chuck, and so it'll only accept 1/4 inch hex head drill bits, just like this. And so the way to put in a drill bit is raise this, or push this out, set it right in there, and that's not going anywhere. And then to take it out, you just have to do the reverse. You push it out, and it comes right out. Perfect. Now this also has a forward, a reverse, and a safety. Perfect. Perfect. We're drill experts now, right? Wrong. We got to figure out how to use it. So let's start with drilling a hole. As you can see, we got the drill bit that we're using. We'll tighten it up. First, safety first. Always good to wear safety glasses. So we got our drill. We got the drill bit in. We are set to the drill mode on the clutch. We'll go in perpendicular, and then with a bit of force, we'll go down as this goes forward. Perfect. So that was on speed 3. As you can tell, if we go down to speed 1, you know, it'll still do the job, but it's a little slower. Now let's drive some screws. So we open this up by going right. We fit this in here. We tighten it up. It's all good. We'll take a screw like this. We'll fit it right into the drill bit, just like that. Now it's going to be really important to go as perpendicular as you can get so you don't strip out the screw bit. Like I'm saying, if we start off and we put it there, and then maybe midway through you get a little crooked, just like that, well, it's not going to hit it. So you want to get right in, perpendicular, put some force into it, and then there you go. Look at that. Screwed together. And to get a screw out, all you got to do is set it right in there, put the reverse function in, and then take it right out. So let's go back to why the clutch is important. For this exercise, let's put the clutch on at 1. And let's drive in a screw. As you can see, it just kind of stops once you reach a certain part. But if we go to a higher setting, like 11 here, look at this. It goes right in. Cool. Y'all ready to drill? Y'all ready to drive? In summary, we learned this is a drill. It can drill holes into wood and can drive screws into your material. And this is an impact driver. It can only really drive screws. The impact driver is best used when you're going to have a project where you're going to be driving in a bunch of screws. Maybe you're doing some framing, maybe you're hanging drywall. Basically, if you know you're going to be driving in a lot of screws, you can use an impact driver. A drill is for either if you know you're going to be drilling holes, or if you know you're going to be drilling holes and driving in screws. This will be good, like let's say you're hanging up a mirror and you got to put in a pilot hole in your wall before you drive in a screw. If you know you're going to be interchanging that, then the drill's for you. Wonderful. Thank you for stopping by. We sure hope you learned something. We hope you had a good time. If you're interested in learning more about the Restoration Team, you can always find us online at therestorationteam.org or on Facebook and Instagram at The Restoration Team. We're doing a whole lot of good work here in Houston repairing homes, and we could use your help. If you're ever interested, stop on by. Check on back for the next video. We're going to be learning all sorts of different things, so we'll see you down the road.